Well, hi everybody. I'm John Ritlin with another retro review, this time of TNA Genesis 2010, the first ever TNA pay-per-view of the Hogan-Bischoff era. It has aged like a fine milk, because Hogan and Bischoff had no business being on camera at that point. Now, Dixie Carter is as much to blame as they are for being on camera, but really, she did not need to turn her, wrestling company into Nitro 2.0 or Nitro point 0.5, so basically WCW Thunder. All the TNA originals, and people that had been there for years, maybe even not since the beginning, but had been there for a number of years, got marginalized and or buried. There were a few that sprouted up, but really it just became the Hogan Bischoff show, and it wasn't a good idea. Whoever creatively came up with these ideas to feature all these old guys on there, it wasn't drawing in enough fans. Yes, the ratings were up a bit when they were on Spike TV. Maybe the pay-per-views ticked up a little, but honestly, the law of diminishing returns really hit them hard, and boy, by 2013, that company was scorched earth at the end of 2013, Bound for Glory 2013, because Hogan had left just before. And I recognize the contributions that those men made to the business, and other ones that were featured. Ric Flair was featured on this pay-per-view. I recognize that. But the thing is I enjoyed Impact Wrestling programming, pay-per-views and stuff like that from 04 to 09. And there were ones that I enjoyed in 2010, 11, and 12. And there were some good things that they did. But really, a lot of it turned out to be kind of shit. And it just burned the goddamn company to the ground. And now they're, rebuilding and all that stuff. And that's another story for another day. So, we start off with a video package of TNA talents, and I'm going to call it TNA because that's what it was at the time, talking about their dreams and wrestling, and we cut to the Impact Zone, newly designed Impact Zone. The four-sided ring is back because they had had a six-sided ring for a while. Hogan and Bischoff come out, so automatically it's 1998 Nitro, where they talk for a while on a pay-per-view that fans paid for. It's like nobody learned anything from WCW, and even WWE did this stuff. So, the crowd's chanting, "We want six sides." The crowd was livid. They were not happy. They were even booing some of Hogan because some of what Hogan said, because he said, well, six sides only got you so far, and we're, making changes and this like kind of stuff. And Bischoff's like, I know the fans don't like changes, but these changes are going to be good. They weren't good. They weren't good at all. And Hogan even took a shot at Vince McMahon because he just wasn't happy with him. What you going to do, Vince McMahon, when TNA runs wild on you? Then we get Mike Tenay and Taz running down the card. I like them as a commentary duo. I like Tenay and Don West just a little bit more, but Taz, I think, fit in TNA just fine. We have Amazing Red against a mystery opponent. It's Brian Kendrick. Okay, X Division Championship match. This was a good match. This was good stuff. Well wrestled. I like Amazing Red. Got to see him at a couple indie shows. Well, one New Japan show, Super J-Cup, and then one indie show a little bit later last year. Got to meet him finally. Great guy. And it was great to see Brian Kendrick here. This is good stuff. Nice mat wrestling. Amazing Red took to the air. Kendrick kept it on the mat, even though he was able to hit some good moves. Code Red off the ropes. 1, 2, 3. Match was fine. We then get Hogan, Bischoff, Nash, Hall, and Waltman, who was 6-Pac. Great. More nostalgia. Great. This is exactly what we fucking needed. This is what the Impact Wrestling fans wanted. People that weren't immediately tuning out because it was turning into bad WCW. And I like WCW, let me make it very clear, but that company has not aged well at all. It's aged better than some of the stuff from WWE, though. So, okay, more nostalgia. Hogan talking about, hey, Nash, you got a contract, but Hall and Waltman, you got to show me something and everything. We're moving fast, and you don't want to get left in the dust. Whatever. We then get Sean Morley, a.k.a. Val Venus, with the same shtick he's been using since 2000. Unfortunately, he was even old in 2000. Was anyone clamoring for Sean Morley to make a return to, mainstream wrestling? Because I know he left WWE in 2009, but was anybody really making a clamoring for this guy to return to wrestling when he was a good worker? But the Val Venus gimmick, while it got him over, was very short-sighted and really didn't, it really didn't measure up, after a couple years, pardon the pun. But, yeah, just this way. He was gone by like March also. I don't even think he survived till lockdown 2010, which was, they had a couple pay-per-views, but then that was their next big one. Daniels was pissed and running him down and stuff like that. Christopher Daniels, by the way, who I've met multiple times, great guy, can still wrestle well at 50, deserved to be TNA World Champion, was never TNA World Champion, kind of a damn shame. So, it's Sean Morley and Christopher Daniels. Look, apparently Sean Morley did not sleep before this. He had some kind of flight issue and did not gain any sleep and had been up a while before this match had happened. So, okay, putting that, taking that into account, the match still wouldn't have been good anyway, no matter if both guys had gotten a ton of sleep because the chemistry just wasn't there. The crowd did boo Morley. I mean, a few people popped, but it wasn't good. It just wasn't. I mean, Daniels went for the throat of Morley, beating him up, and yeah, Morley won. Great. That's a good use. You can't bring in old talent or talent that have a name to help the current roster. Even though Daniels had a name, if you're going to use people outside the company that have had a name in other companies and have had a lineage, Hogan, Bischoff, Flair, that kind of stuff, you got to use them correctly. Having Morley pick up a pay-per-view win in 2010 wasn't the way to go. And then we get Tara and ODB with a video package hyping up their feud, and this wasn't that bad. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match for the Knockouts Championship. ODB, like her, had great talent back then, still has great talent now, working in NWA briefly, and also working, I believe she is working in Impact as well, so she's staying busy, and that's great. Tara, love Tara. aka Victoria, I hope that she somehow can manage to be included in the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble. I think she said 2019 was going to be her last year, but I would love to see her make one last appearance. I mean, apparently the company isn't very high on her. There's some kind of heat, which is a shame because, oh yeah, she's actually a good women's wrestler. Just a good wrestler in general. I mean, she could compete with some of the men. I'm a fan of her, if you can't tell. This wasn't that bad. It was nice. It was nice and hard hitting. Victoria wins first fall with an inside cradle after a bit. This was good, and then we get some scissoring action in the second fall. I just took the piss immediately out of this by saying that joke, but it was a body scissors. ODB trying to work on the core of Victoria, if you will, and suddenly she pulls out the Widow's Peak after coming back 1, 2, 3. She wins in 2 straight falls and is a new Knockouts champion. And then we get Pope D'Angelo Dinero being interviewed by Hemi, and it's about facing Desmond Wolfe. Who is Desmond Wolfe? Nigel McGuinness. It's Nigel McGuinness. That's who it is. They're in his brief run in Impact. So we get the British Invasion. Bruce Magnus and Douglas Williams versus Matt Morgan and Hernandez. The Blueprint, Matt Morgan and Hernandez. And it was a TNA Tag Team title match. Almost a Tag Team title championship match, which would have been redundant. So, it's kind of funny. Bruce Magnus, of course, Nick Aldis. In case you don't know, in case you're not that familiar with Impact at this time, if you didn't watch it, or you kind of forgot some stuff, it's kind of cool to see Nick Aldis where he was here and then where he is now, and being easily, I think him and Okada are like neck and neck as far as being the best world champions going today. It was power versus technical skills. The Brits used a lot of heel tactics and everything. Hernandez got beat up for a while. Matt Morgan got the hot tag eventually. Power overtook the British Invasion. USA reigning supreme again, even though Hernandez, moving on. We get the carbon footprint. 1, 2, 3. Morgan and Hernandez win the Impact or the TNA Tag Team Championships. Cool. Okay. You start off with a nice championship change. Actually, that's the second championship to change hands. And then we get Lashley going in to talk to Bischoff, but Abyss is there, and then Lashley tries to get in Bischoff's face, so Abyss beats him up. They've been going with the storyline of Abyss being unhinged and everything and just wanting to please the office, Bischoff and Hogan and stuff like that, so he's taking anybody out that was beating him up. This was also to write off Lashley because I think he wanted to focus more on MMA. He was supposed to, I want to say he was supposed to face Scott Steiner, but they had something going on at that time. I don't remember that's actually what it was, but it's supposed to be Lashley and Scott Steiner, and they wrote that off. Lashley left the company soon after this. This might have been his last appearance, and he did MMA and he did stuff like that, and then eventually would return to Impact, and my God, he would be featured so much better than he is now in WWE. Sweet Christ, why can't anybody realize that Lashley could be a goddamn dominant badass and not involved in this bullshit? Anyway, and I don't mean this bullshit, I mean the current bullshit in WWE. You know what I'm talking about. So, Lashley gets laid out. Because Abyss decided to monitor the situation by slamming the monitor into Lashley's hands, but it was actually his face. And then Abyss is like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that or whatever. And Bischoff's like, you took out my semi-main event. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but at this time, if you were going to include Lashley in your semi-main event when he wasn't getting over as a babyface, it wasn't exactly a great idea. And also, this pay-per-view wasn't bad, but it would kind of hit a bit of a stumbling block a little bit later. We get Hogan talking to Abyss and everything and saying, okay, you're going to face a mystery opponent. Who is it? You'll find out. And we get Desmond Wolfe versus Pope D'Angelo Dinero. This feud had been going on for a little bit on TV. Not bad, well wrestled. Wolf focused on the knee. I really should just call him Nigel because that's who he is. So Nigel basically attacks the knee of Pope. Pope eventually tries to go for a move in the corner after coming back and gets hit with a big lariat. 1, 2, 3. And Wolf or Nigel wins. Okay, good. Nice way to start. Damn shame that his wrestling career ended the way it did. But great that he's, a great commentator now. Great commentator in Ring of Honor, great commentator in NXT. Anyway, we get Borash being interrupted by Bischoff. He kicks him off TV. Hemi's here. She is going to talk to Bischoff. Oh, wait, here's Ric Flair. He stares down Bischoff, and then Bischoff leaves. Ric Flair gets interviewed about the main event. Okay, cool. Beer Money, James Storm, and Robert Roode, or Bobby Roode, or Bob Roode, if you want to call it like Rusev, versus what was supposed to be Kevin Nash and Scott Hall, but nope, it's Kevin Nash and Six Pac, aka Sean Waltman. Boy, Beer Money carried this fucking match. Now, I recognize that Nash was in diminished condition and thankfully is healthier now. Waltman, of course, was not what he was, and nobody's going to be after the careers these guys had had and all the bumps and bruises. But fucking hell, Beer Money had to dumb themselves down quite a bit. Now, to be fair, enough of this was about trying to get Beer Money over. They just didn't go about it in the best way, but Beer Money did eventually win because Scott Hall comes down and then he attacks a fan who was obviously a plant. Waltman gets distracted, and then last call super kick into a jackknife cover by Robert Roode. 1, 2, 3, and Beer Money wins. Okay, cool. So the band has been disbanded. No, that was a terrible pun. I'm sorry. We then get Hogan and Bischoff talking about what TNA can do for them, not the other way around, hinting that they're going to turn heel and they are going to show up at Bound for Glory 2010. They didn't say that, but that's basically the implication. That was not a good run or a good end to the pay-per-view because guess what? Oh yeah, it featured Jeff Hardy's heel turn. Oh boy. But yeah, more Hogan Bischoff because that's exactly what this pay-per-view is demanding is for the paying customers to watch more old guys talking. We then get Abyss versus the debuting Mr. Anderson. Anderson, and this match wasn't good. It wasn't. Sometimes chemistry just doesn't work, all that well, and it doesn't work with some, wrestlers and stuff like that. And Anderson does a typical promo. Anderson worked on the shoulder. Eventually would end up pulling out brass knucks, hitting Abyss for the 1, 2, 3. After Abyss had tried to pull a chair in and stuff like that, and we then get a cool video package, a hyped main event of Styles and Angle, tail of the tape, all this stuff and everything. Kurt's last chance at AJ Styles' title while AJ Styles is champion in 2010. Because Angle would challenge for the championship later, like Bound for Glory, him, Anderson, and Jeff Hardy, and oh yeah, aforementioned bullshit that happened there. Styles and Angle. I really can't say enough good stuff about this match. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Great match. Well wrestled and everything. Ric Flair comes out at one point. Whose side is he on? Is he just out there to observe? What is going on exactly? Because Styles was the champion, had been the champion since No Surrender, and Angle really wanted to get it because if he didn't, even if he won by DQ, he wouldn't get a chance to win. He wouldn't get a chance to have the championship again while Styles was the champion. So eventually, ankle lock that Angle has on Styles. And Earl Hebner gets in the perfect position, and old guy rips another old guy out, and Ric Flair's like looking, wait, what? I didn't do anything. Kurt gets distracted, and eventually knocks Angle down. Flair hands him the TNA title. It's kind of like if you remember Great American Bash '91, Barry Windham and Lex Luger when Harley Race showed up. It's kind of like that. Except the talent here is better because Barry Windham was great. Lex Luger less so, though he was in his element as a heel. This is kind of a repeat of that. And he throws the championship to AJ while Earl Hebner is still down. And then, Styles is confused, and gets that look on his face. Smashes Angle in the face with the championship. And then it takes forever to get Earl Hebner back in the ring. 1, 2, 3. Styles and Ric Flair celebrate as Styles has turned heel. Ric Flair has a new guy. Cool. Okay, that's kind of the way to go. The problem is they kind of mucked this up right after Lockdown 2010. And it was a good idea in theory. And I think Flair did the best he could to help Styles, but it just didn't quite work as they tried to make Styles Nature Boy 2.0 instead of just making him having him be AJ Styles, a heel that he had been in TNA before. I mean, let's not forget when he aligned with Russo. Actually, let's forget that, but let's not forget the great heel work that he did. And the fact that he had been a heel before, I think even in like 2007, 2008. And honestly, this pay-per-view had its hits and misses. Now, don't get me wrong, things would get infinitely worse and infinitely better depending on the month and the pay-per-view during the Hogan Bischoff era. It ended strong. It started fine after, with the first match. It ended fine, but there was some messes in the middle. It's like something was just off about this, and too much Hogan and Bischoff. That ultimately didn't really work. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this pay-per-view. Have you watched it recently? What do you guys think of it? Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.